Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.
Hello, I'm Lori Steiner. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, your kids have made a comeback. We'll reveal rules for when they return home to roost. Then, it's a blooming success. We'll unveil exciting inventory from Orchid Mania. Suffering from sneezes and sniffles? We'll suggest how to survive cold and flu season. Plus, we'll preserve the pleasures of pastels and paintings. And how will Ohio's legislative changes change your life? We'll lay down the laws.
It's time to get geoing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. If you have children that have moved back home, you're not alone. But just because they have their old bedroom back doesn't mean you've all turned back time. They're adults, and so are you. Jim Lineweaver is here with rules for everyone to live by, relatively speaking. Jim is a certified financial planner professional with the Lineweaver Financial Group. So welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So multi-generational families are multiplying, right?
In a major way. It's not necessarily a good thing. So multi-generational would be any family where you have like multi-family levels of at least two.
Okay.
So this could be yourselves with adult children that have maybe gone to college or something and come back, can't find a job, or it could be grandparents with grandkids. Okay, so at least have a couple of generations in there.
Okay.
And what we've seen, and unfortunately these studies take a while to come out, but since 2014 is our most recent data, and it shows that from an age group of age 25 to 29, 31% of the population out there are living back with their parents.
Wow.
Which is a little bit of a problem. But then more importantly than that, if you expand that age group from 18 to 34, the largest segment ever in 130 years is now living back at home.
My
And
goodness.
so it's becoming a real problem, and you want to make sure it doesn't derail some of the things that you had, for your future.
Oh, absolutely. And those extra people mean extra expenses.
Yes, they do. So we have a couple rules for your viewers to kind of abide by if this happens to you.
Okay.
So the first one is to, with these home expenses, just like when somebody moved out, all the expenses may not just drop in half, but when somebody comes back in, it's going to go, could be substantially higher. Make them pay for their expenses. Not easy to do, but they should, even if they have a part-time job or they don't have their ideal job, but at least if they're working, make sure they're contributing to your household so it's just not a huge drain on your own expenses.
Okay.
It can be a huge problem, but just make sure that they're contributing not only in just monetary, but also they should be doing dishes, helping you out around the house.
Oh, okay, that's a good point. How about rule number 2?
Rule number 2 is going to be basically dealing with health care. A lot of people think, well, they'll just stay on my company health care plan until age 26, and that's the best way to go. Well, with the Affordable Care Act, that may not be the best thing. So what you want to do is contact your employer, say, okay, how much is my son or daughter charging me or this family member versus what I'd be paying without them. And then look at the Affordable Care Act rates and see if you could save some money that way, because it's not always just a clean-cut decision.
Okay. And they're out of school, but that doesn't mean they're done paying for it.
No.
So how about rule number 3?
Yeah, rule number 3, in addition to paying you, they probably should start paying off on their student loans. So most federal loans, you're going to have to start paying back the debt within 6 months after you get out of school. Make sure they're not just paying interest only and getting off of this, easy. Make sure they're contributing some principal and interest to eventually get that paid off at some point in time.
Yeah, I know people who are much older and still have those debts. So how about last but not least rule?
One is make sure you're getting them credit, so they can get out of the house and buy their first home, so they're not just going to be stuck with you forever. So get them a credit card, make sure they're paying it back monthly, and staying on top of that so that they can get good credit. And then also, if they are working somewhere and their employer offers some type of a match, make sure they're contributing to the 401k or retirement plan and getting that additional free money. Whatever it is, 3-4%, take it up to that match so that they can start putting some money aside for their future as well.
And the younger they start, right? That magic of
triple compounding, yes.
Yes, all right. All very good points, and I hope everybody listens to them. It may be all in the family when your kids come back, but it's important not to waste that time or your money. Follow Jim's tips for the good of everyone until you're finally, once again, home alone. Need help? Give Jim a call. His number's next.
For more information, call the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888 313-4009 or click to www.lineweaver.net. Next, sensational. But first, if a gaggle is a group of geese and a bellowing is a band of bullfinches, what animals put themselves in a pack called a paddling? We'll specify this species when we return.
Hilltop Village Apartments is retirement living at its best. Residents enjoy a wide variety of activities and living services with all large first-floor apartments, private screened-in patios with beautiful park views, daily dining room meals, free laundry facilities, 24-hour staff, and so much more. Enjoy safe, comfortable independence at a very affordable price. Call today for a tour and learn how you can get your first month's rent free. Hilltop Village Apartments, retirement living at its best.
If you get a peek at a paddling, that means you're seeing an assembly of several ducks. And these ducks just might be dibbling, which in duck terms means drinking.
Spring is in the air, at least at the Cleveland Botanical Garden, where plant fans are going crazy for Orchid Mania. Cynthia Druckenbrod is here to share how this colorful event will brightens everyone's day. Cynthia is the Director of Horticultural Exhibits and Communication at the Cleveland Botanical Garden. So happy to have you at the show.
Thank you. I'm glad
friends.
to be back. Thank you. Yeah, I brought a couple friends today to show you how beautiful, of course, orchids are and how easy they are to take care of. And it's a very accessible show. And the fun thing is that it's different every single year. It's different for us. It's different for our guests. And we have a theme this year of hanging gardens. So you're going to see orchids throughout the entire building in the glass house, hanging above your head and in front of your nose and at your feet. It's going to be hanging orchids everywhere, and it's really a lovely show.
That's not what we usually expect. We usually expect orchids to be kind of like, you know, sitting here on the table. So let's talk about orchids themselves first.
Sure.
So are they really for everyone? I've heard that orchids are hard to grow.
Originally I think people did have that thought, but now that you see them in grocery stores and big box stores and florist shops, you see orchids everywhere, especially Phalaenopsis orchids, which are the moth orchids, which you're very familiar with, but you're starting to see more diversity as well, like these slipper orchids that we have here. But Phalaenopsis is a great beginner orchid.
Okay, I was going to say, is there something for me who can't grow anything?
You can grow those at home, and we have Orchid Doctor on Saturdays during the Orchid Mania show, and we can tell you how to raise these orchids in your house. They're very simple. The biggest trick is getting them to rebloom. Sometimes it's a little bit challenging to do that, but if you lower their temperatures and sometimes use cooler water, sometimes that will get them to set spike and rebloom for you. But if you can't, you can always buy another one.
So typically it's one bloom unless you can really kind of work with it?
Well, usually you can get several blooms per stalk, and sometimes people can get 10, 15 blooms per stalk, and they will last months at a time.
Wow.
So that's why they're such a rewarding plant to have at home. But like I said, Phalaenopsis is a great beginner orchid, and we tell you all about that during the Orchid Doctor.
Do they smell good? Do they fill your home with fragrance?
The original Phalaenopsis that were from the rainforests of Southeast Asia did have a fragrance, and some do, but most of the Phalaenopsis orchids do not have a fragrance. They are bred for their beautiful colors and their big flowers that last a long time. Same with these guys. These slipper orchids don't have a fragrance, but so many other flowers do. Do you remember those big corsage orchids that you would wear for prom or whatever event, homecoming? Those are called Cattleya orchids, and most of those are very, very fragrant. They smell like vanilla or oranges or just other beautiful things, jasmine. So they have a beautiful fragrance, and some don't smell so good.
Oh, yeah?
We have some orchids actually that have a different fragrance, sort of like there's one called Doggy Doo, and
I can imagine what that smells like.
Let me tell you how popular that is. When we have that at the Botanical Garden, everybody wants to smell it and share it with their friends. But I have to tell you, there's a reason why they smell like that. It's because they're trying to attract their pollinators, which are flies. And flies are attracted to that, right?
Of course, of course.
Right, exactly.
Right. So we're going to see orchids like this and
You're
all
gonna
different
see,
kinds
you're gonna see
everywhere.
thousands of flowers all throughout the botanical garden, hanging at all different levels, and you're gonna be immersed. When we most need the color and the fragrance in the middle of February, we start January 28th, we go through March 5th. Of course, there are programs every weekend, and we're open late on Wednesday nights. So if you wanna come for Orchids After Dark to enjoy beautiful music, beautiful flowers, food, it's just a great time with your family or your friends.
It sounds like a fantastic event. And
It
these
is.
guys are so cute.
Aren't they,
I
darling?
see more.
This
yeah.
one's called Pinocchio. Isn't that precious?
Oh, yes, very much. You can't see probably on the screen, but they got little furries on
They
those.
do. I mean, orchids
Looks like
are
little arms with fur.
They're extremely intricate. I mean, there's no reason why. I mean, they are the most diverse plant family on the planet.
Wow.
And we will have thousands in bloom for you at the Botanical Garden for Orchid Mania.
Sounds great. Now, it may be dark and gray outside, but the inside of the Cleveland Botanical Garden is bursting with color. To find out more about Orchid Mania, use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Cynthia for planting herself at our table today to talk about orchids.
For more information, call the Cleveland Botanical Garden at 216-721-1600 or log on to www.cbgarden.org. Next, hot tips to keep from catching a cold. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Want to make an early date for Valentine's Day? How about breakfast at Tiffany's? On February 14th at 7:30 p.m., the Cleveland Orchestra will show this famously romantic movie while performing the soundtrack live. Would you love more information? Call 216-231-1111 or visit www.clevelandorchestra.com.
Think the winter season always includes succumbing to sickness? Not necessarily. Dr. Kimberly Chen is here to prescribe tips to keep you on your very healthy toes. Dr. Chen is the Senior Medical Director at Medical Mutual of Ohio. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
Colds, flu, I mean, it's the season. Aren't we bound to be suffering from something?
Absolutely. Winter virus does make its way around in this winter season, and especially staying inside with people who are sick really makes you more susceptible to certain type of virus. But if you make your mind up, there are ways to avoid getting sick.
Okay, so how do we start that?
Well, you start by getting enough sleep. Study shows that if you get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, that helps you to fight off illness and also help you to recover when you're sick. So it's very, very important for you to have 7 to 8 hours sleep and get that
schedule, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I can plan that into I like sleep, so. And I'm betting that eating healthy is on the list as well.
It is. It's important for you to have a diet that's rich in vitamins. Although many of us already take some vitamins and dietary supplements to help us in our daily routine. However, it's more important to have a balanced diet to make sure you have the nutrients that you need. Another thing that's very important is vitamin D in this dark winter month. Food that has a lot of vitamin D are salmon and tuna. Other ones are fortified foods such as cereal, milk, orange juice, and some soy drinks.
Okay.
Experts also recommend 600 international units for individuals who are 70s and younger, but over 71, you should take 800 international units every day.
Your next suggestion is a shot in the arm.
Yeah, it's very important to keep up your vaccine. Vaccination is one of those most effective ways to prevent certain disease and illness, such as flu. The flu season starts as early as October and all the way through March. So you can still get your influenza vaccine right now if you like. Center of Disease Control and Prevention recommend anybody who's over 6 months and older to get their yearly vaccine, and you can get them from the doctor's office, pharmacy, any local fitness centers as well.
Okay, and you have also keeping it clean.
That sounds very simple, but just by simple hand wash can keep you away from the germs. Another thing you can do is sanitizer. With 60% alcohol content, instead of using soap and water when they are not available. Another thing is stay away from people who are sick. But when you come in contact with them, make sure you wash your hands.
Okay, and finally, you say people should stay active.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it is so tempting to just sit in front of the fireplace, you know, in this cold winter month. However, moderate exercise can keep you healthy. You can incorporate some exercise class from the gym or just adding a new workout for home. Another thing is if you do go outside, make sure you watch out for the snow and the slippery ice surface. Yeah. Just 30 minutes exercise per day can keep you healthy and fight off those viruses.
Okay, so it sounds like something doable. And I think you're gonna be back in a couple of weeks talking more about keeping active.
Absolutely.
Like getting outdoors and those kinds of things. So give your body a fighting chance to chase off seasonal sicknesses. Follow Dr. Chen's tips to keep in tip-top shape. And for more help, use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Dr. Chen for sharing a healthy dose of illness-avoiding advice.
Find out more about Medical Mutual of Ohio by visiting www.medmutual.com/go or call 1-844-606-5387. Up next, perfection in pastels. It's time to get up and go, an exercise segment on golden opportunities.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and today we're going to show you how to work the biceps and the back muscles by doing a seated row exercise utilizing our exercise band, okay? Ready to go?
Let's do
it.
this.
So we're going to start seated in a chair. We want our heels out in front of us with our toes pointed towards the ceiling. We're going to place the band around the arch of the foot. Once we're there, we can go ahead and crisscross the handles just to make sure the band stays in place. Make sure you maintain a good posture. Pull your fists into your chest and squeeze your shoulder blades. Okay, exhale with exertion and inhale as your body rests. So squeeze the shoulder blades, fists out in front of you, 12 to 15. How you feeling?
Oh, it feels great.
Not too bad. All right, everybody, 2 to 3 sets, and now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 6105 Parkland Boulevard, Suite 140, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 44124.
Vibrant and subtle, intense and delicate. How can one medium be all of these? The answer can be found in Pure Color, pastels from the Cleveland Museum of Art, an exhibition currently on display. Heather Lemonides is the chief curator, and she's here to color our world with the contradictory qualities of pastels. So, I mean, I think most people think of pastel as just a lighter color, but actually it's an artistic medium, correct?
Exactly, exactly. Pastels are a dry drawing medium. They're made from powdered pigments, so very intense colors, mixed with a white chalk or talc or even a clay, and then that is made into a paste with a binder and a little bit of water. So an artist or a color maker rolls that together, rolls that paste together into little sticks, allows them to dry, and then you have the most miraculous way of making drawings. And they are known for their intense, vivid colors and their beautiful texture. That texture has been likened to flower petals, butterfly wings, and even stardust. So very beautiful, velvety colors.
And the Cleveland Museum of Art is highlighting the variety of different ways that pastel is used, right?
Exactly. Our exhibition, Pure Color, is an exhibition in our prints and drawings galleries of about 30 or so pastels by artists ranging from the 1860s through the 1920s. So quite a range of artists from Europe and America, different styles, and obviously different decades and very different artistic sensibilities are represented, and all the different ways that artists in the late 19th and early 20th century envisioned using pastel.
Okay, now you have a few examples to show us kind of what that means.
I do.
It's used in a variety of different styles, and the first painting we have a picture of is called First Steps.
Yes, a very, very charming drawing, exactly, by Jean-François Millet. He was one of the first artists in the late 19th century to really bring this medium back into artistic consciousness. The medium had been popular in the 18th century, but then in the 1860s, Millet made many, many drawings in which he started out with charcoal and then added wonderful color. Like this drawing, you see a father reaching toward his little child and the mother encouraging that child to take its first steps, as the title indicates. And you see color used throughout the composition to really bring it to life and to sort of breathe activity into it.
Okay. One of the Impressionists also is Edgar Degas, and he had worked with pastels before, but it was sort of a renaissance of that after this previous artist's works were sold, correct?
Exactly. Artists like the Impressionists, such as Edgar Degas, saw the works of Millet and they were inspired. And Degas was one of the most prolific artists in pastel during that time, and he made over 700 drawings in pastel. He used the medium for all of his favorite subjects, the bath, jockeys, and of course the ballet dancer. And here you see ballerinas who are adjusting their costumes, stretching, waiting in the wings right before a performance starts. And you see the incredible colors for which pastel is best known, these oranges, blues, pinks, greens, very intense palette and rich colors and a kind of luminescence that is particular to the medium.
And this is something for a post-impressionist, so tell us about this one.
Right, this is by an artist who is a good friend of Paul Gauguin. This artist is called Claude Emile Schuffenecker, an unusual name, and this is a symbolist landscape. It is a figure by a fence with houses in the background, and the whole image seems to shimmer like a mirage. It's as if it's sort of moving or quivering. Very mysterious and evocative.
Wow, I wish we had more time to show more of them, but I think they're gonna have to come to the show, right?
Please come to the exhibition, exactly. It's free, as is the museum, and available every day except Monday, and on Wednesdays and Fridays, the museum's open till 9 p.m. We hope people will come and enjoy it.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
The approaches to using pastel may be varied, but all of the results are really beautiful. See for yourself at Pure Color at the Cleveland Museum of Art. The exhibition continues through March 19th. My thanks to Heather for giving us a personal pastel preview.
Thank you.
Learn more by calling the Cleveland Museum of Art at 216-421-7350 or visit www.clevelandart.org. Next, new year, new laws.
Right now, proton therapy, a revolutionary treatment for many types of cancer, is available for the first time in Ohio and only at University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center. That's the future of cancer care. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center. Right now, the trusted experts of University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center and the most advanced cancer-fighting technologies are in 17 community locations. That's leading-edge care where you're most comfortable. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center.
Did you miss a phone number or website? Then here's your second chance, because we're going to list all of that information again. Then we'll be back to share who has custody of custodial accounts. The Ohio legislature has recently passed a law that will make it easier to pass assets to children or grandchildren using custodial accounts. Here to discuss this new law is my law partner, Michael Solomon.
Hey, Lori.
Hi, Mike. So tell us first how custodial accounts worked under the old law.
Well, under the old Ohio law, if you put money, let's say for a child or grandchild in a bank account, and you have a custodial account if they're under age 21, and then at age 21, they can access the money. The problem with that, of course, is a parent or grandparent might want to put a nice amount of money in a custodial account, and then all of a sudden a 21-year-old gets a hold of it. It may not be the right time for a 20-year-old to get a hold of that money.
All right. So how does the new law handle things?
Well, the new law extends the age to age 25. So you can have a custodial account to age 25. So, for example, let's say a parent or grandparent wants to put $50,000 in a custodial account for the child or grandchild. Then they name a custodian, and they're the boss of the money, the custodian, until that child reaches age 25. Hopefully, by that time, they're more mature, they can handle the money.
We hope. Any special rules to think about?
Well, yes. Number one, you have to have some special language for this new custodial account that makes it clear that it goes to age 25. That's number one. And number two, you ought to make sure you name a successor custodian in case the first custodian passes away or for some reason or other can't serve.
Okay. Are these available today for our viewers?
Well, almost. The law kicks in at the beginning of April. So if you're thinking of setting up a custodial account, you want to use the age 25, just wait a few months and then go to the bank or a brokerage company, wherever it is you have your custodial account, and then you can use the age 25 rule.
All right. I know we don't have much time left, but any other changes that happened this year?
Sure, there's one, we've talked about on the show before, transfer and death affidavits. You name a beneficiary of your real estate, it avoids probate. So you can have it just go right out to the beneficiaries. If you name a spouse and then you get a divorce, the new Ohio law says they assume the spouse, or ex-spouse actually, has passed away, so that beneficiary designation automatically is invalid.
That could be a good thing if you forget to take her off or him off of the deed then. Yeah. So, all right, great information. If you're thinking of setting up a custodial account, make sure you consider the recent changes in Ohio law. If you're interested in a more detailed explanation about this law change and some of the other changes in the estate rules, you can go to our website for a summary of the changes and links to other valuable information. Or you can give Mike a call. His number and our website are up next.
Call Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.ssnplaw.com.
Thanks for joining us. On next week's show, looking to sell your home sweet home? We have a to-do list before you list. Then, what happens if you have a stroke? We'll help you find facts fast. And can you defer your minimum required distributions? We'll investigate one option. But until then, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
If you'd like to join our kitchen conversation, visit our website, www.goldenopportunities.tv. Like us on Facebook. Call us at 440-742-GO-TV or email us at kitchen@goldenopportunities.tv. We'd love to hear from you.
Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.